morning, viewers. Welcome to MouShauk. Today, I'll be starting with a new chapter of biology, that is five kingdom classification. Okay? So, this is the new chapter, five kingdom classification. This I have made it point wise that will be easy for you to remember and to memorize. Okay, and also to reciprocate in your question papers. Okay? So before I start, I will request you to please to subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed yet, or if you are a new viewer to my channel. And if you are liking the video, press the like button, share with your friends so that they can also be benefited from these videos. And also do meditate before you start your day. So for meditation, the first let us concentrate on a point of light for just 1 minute, and then we will start with the discussion. Okay? So for meditation, let us concentrate on the point of light. The light is falling into your whole body is being enlightened. You're feeling energetic. You're feeling as if your breath still you're becoming so keen. Feeling interest in every work you are doing. You're doing your work very enthusiastically. You're feeling that somebody is helping you in every of your problems. All of your problems have been solved very easily. And at the end of the day, you're becoming successful for thanking God for being with you the whole day and helping you, and also making you happy. And the chapter we start with a discussion. So, five kingdom classification. This is the chapter of class 9. Okay, along with the physics chapter, which I'm continuing, still a little bit is left in this physics chapter. That is okay. So the barometer part, some of the aneroid, and this one, 14 barometer is still left. Okay, so we will discuss in my next video. Before that, I have made this chapter for your convenience, for some of your requests. I have made this chapter. Okay, so you must be thinking that I'm taking too long to complete all the chapters of class 9, but these chapters are long enough, and also they are taking time to prepare. Okay, so I have made this chapter in a concise way, point wise, so that it will be easier for you to remember. Okay, so starting with it, what is the definition of classification? The definition of classification. What is classification? It is the method of grouping of organisms on the basis of their similarities and differences. Okay. So it is the method of grouping the organisms on the basis of what? The similarities and differences. And what are the advantages of classifying the animals and plants? Okay. So rather organisms. It facilitates the identification of organisms. To identify the organism, it helps in explanation of how different creatures interact with one another, how one is interacting with another organism. So this can be explained by this classification. It also helps to understand the evolution of organisms, from where this organism came up. So evolution of organisms can also be understood from this classification. It assists to know how animals, plants, and other living creatures are related, and how they can benefit humans. Human can be benefited from this creatures, from these organisms. How can it be so helpful? This can also be understood from the classification. It helps us to learn the features of the entire group to which the organism is belonging to. Okay. Now, taxonomy is the study of classification of living organisms, is known as the term, which is the science which is used which is used to classify, rather to study the classification of the living organism, is known as taxonomy. Okay. Now, the first study of classification was developed by Carolus Linnaeus. He was a Swedish botanist, and he was the first one to introduce binomial nomenclature. What is that? It is the naming system of an organism. Okay, it is the naming system in which the organisms are given. It has two names, two parts of the name. It has, like we have the main name and the surname. So like that, any organism has a generic name and a specific name. Okay. So bi means two, nomenclature means name. Okay, so that binomial nomenclature. Bi means two and nomial or nomen means name. Okay? So binomial means two names. So what are the two names? One is generic, one other is specific. Generic comes from the word genus, and specific comes from the word species. Okay? Name of the genus and name of the species makes the name of the organism. Okay? Now, what are the rules for this binomial nomenclature? Two rules are there. First, the scientific name always written in the Roman script. Two rules. First rule is that they are written in the Roman script. And when in print, they are always in italics. When in the printing we get on the books, no, they remain in italics. They remain in italics. Okay. And when they are handwritten, when we write on the copy or any paper when we are writing, we should underline both the names. That is the first name, the generic name, and the second name, that is the specific name. Both of them should be underlined. Now, the second rule is the generic name starts with a capital letter. The generic name starts with a capital letter, but the second part, that is the specific name, that should be in the small letter. The first part is the generic name, second part is the specific name. Generic name starts with a capital letter, specific name starts with a small letter. Okay, specific name, total name is in small letter. Both of them should be underlined. And when it is printed, then it should be written in italics. Okay. So these are the rules for binomial nomenclature. For example, see crow, Corvus splendens. Okay. Corvus is the generic name, splendens is the specific name. Corvus, as it is the generic name, so it starts with the capital letter C, and splendens is the specific name, so it's totally small letter. Okay, lowercase. It's written in lowercase. And both of them are underlined. Okay, as it is the scientific name, which is denoting the binomial nomenclature of the crow. Okay. Now, what do we mean by specific name? Or as we know, the specific name comes from the word species. So, what is species? Species is an organism of a particular kind with distinctive features that distinguish them from the others, and whose members can interbreed among themselves to produce fertile young ones. So, what is it? It is an organism of a particular kind. Okay, species is an organism of a particular kind which has some distinctive features which will distinguish it from the other animals, other organisms from the same genus. Okay, so one species differs from the other. So one species, that is an organism, will differ from the other organism. That is the species they differ. Okay, whose members can interbreed. The species, the members of the species, they can interbreed among themselves and produce fertile young ones. Okay, like crow, the splendens is the specific name. The splendid species, the crow which belongs to the splendid species, they can interbreed among themselves to form the fertile young ones, to produce the fertile young ones, and they have a particular distinctive characteristics from the other species of the same crow. Okay, same Corvus genus. Okay, like that. Hierarchy of the classification. So, what is the hierarchy of the classification? First comes the highest group of classification of that means organisms is kingdom. Okay. Then comes phylum, then comes class, then comes order, then comes family, then comes genus, and then the species. This is the smallest class. Now, so kingdom. Kingdom is all organisms that share some common characters. Some common characters are there, which we a large group, you can say, where there are some common characters are there. Okay, like plant or animal kingdom. Okay, or you can say Plantae or animal. Okay, then comes the phylum. Example, say Chordata. Okay, so here we can see all organisms belong to the various classes have few common characters. Okay, they have some few common characters of the various classes having few common characters are under the one phylum, under one phylum. Okay. Now class, organisms of related order. Some orders are there whose common characters are matching. They are coming under one class. Okay, for example, so Mammalia. Then comes the order. A group of related families form a order. For example, say carnivores, carnivora. Okay. Then comes family. A group of related genera with certain similar characters form the family. For example, say Feridae. Okay, cat family. Then comes genus. Genus is a group of species which are related having less similar characters as found among a particular species. Okay, species, in one species, the organisms of the same species will have more common characters. But two different species who have some common characters will be grouped under one genus. Okay, like Panthera. Okay. So in the other way around, if we consider like from top to bottom, we will see that group of species combined together, having common characters, combined together to form a genus. Group of genus who have different, common characters are grouped under family, one family. Group of families, related families having common characters will be under one order. Okay, group of organisms which have of related order having common characteristics are grouped under one class. Group of organisms who are belonging to related classes, okay, having common characters, few common characters, they are under one phylum. Then group of organisms who are having some common characters of the related phylum will be grouped under one kingdom. Okay, like this, from top to bottom and bottom to top, like this you can understand. Okay, so species, then genus, then family, then order, then class, then phylum, and then finally kingdom. So next we are coming to drawbacks of the old two kingdom classification. What are the drawbacks of this old two kingdom classification? That is plant and animal. Previously this was the classification between plant and animal. Okay, two kingdoms were there. So what was the drawback? The plant comprised of photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic species. Okay, the plants comprised of photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic species. Then fungi that feed on dead organisms, organic matter were placed under photosynthetic plants. Another class of classification was also needed for clubbing the organisms with some characteristics into one kingdom. Okay. Then eukaryotes and prokaryotes, unicellular and multicellular organisms, photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic organisms were not distinguished. Okay, then some organisms are there, which neither fall into plant nor into animal kingdom, like lichens. Okay, they are placed in one group. So these were the drawbacks. That is, no, Proper classification was not made. Eukaryotes and prokaryotes were not differentiated. The unicellular, multicellular organisms were not differentiated. Photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic organisms were not distinguished. Okay. Then the organisms which were neither plants nor animals, they were also not distinguished properly. Okay, they were not grouped properly. Okay, then fungi that they feed on dead organic matter were placed under photosynthetic plants, but actually they feed on dead organic matter. They do not prepare their own food. So these were the drawbacks of the two kingdom classification. For this, what happened? The five kingdom classification was introduced by Robert H. Whittaker in 1959 on the basis of the structure of the cell, that is either it's prokaryotic or eukaryotic, mode of nutrition, that is autotrophic or heterotrophic, and body organization, whether it's unicellular or multicellular organisms. So, according to on the basis of these, the five kingdom classification was introduced by Robert H. Whittaker. Okay, so what is prokaryotic and what is eukaryotic? Okay, prokaryotic is, so organisms first was, according to this five kingdom classification, organisms were first divided into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So what were prokaryotes? Pro means what? Primitive. Okay, and karyon means nucleus. So primitive organisms which are having primitive nucleus, that was known as those animals are known as prokaryotes. And eukaryotes is well-defined nucleus. Okay. Now this prokaryotes, they had unicellular, but they do not have any organized nucleus. The nuclear material were scattered in the cytoplasm. No proper nuclear membrane was there. No nucleolus was there. So these were the primitive organisms having primitive nucleus. Okay. And eukaryotes, where there is a well-defined nucleus, well-defined nuclear membrane, nucleolus was there. Okay. So these are eukaryotes. Okay, these type of organisms having a well-defined nucleus, these are the eukaryote organisms. Okay, now prokaryotes, they constitute a kingdom known as Monera, kingdom Monera. Okay, the first kingdom which was introduced, that was kingdom Monera, which the characteristics of these are unicellular, they are absence of well-defined nucleus, absence or presence of cell wall. Okay, in some there are cell wall present and some they do not have the cell wall. Maybe autotrophic, maybe heterotrophic. For example, say bacteria, cyanobacteria, mycoplasma, like that. They do not have any membrane-based organisms like mitochondria, chloroplasts. They do not have these things. Okay. Then we come to eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are two types, unicellular and multicellular. So unicellular eukaryotes are grouped into one kingdom that is known as Protista, kingdom Protista, or you can say Protoctista. Okay, it is either known as Protista or Protoctista kingdom. Okay, so these have the characteristic that they are also unicellular, but they are animal-like or plant-like. They have a well-defined nucleus present. They may be autotrophic, they may be heterotrophic. Their movement will be, they move through the cilia, flagella, or through the podia. Okay, for example, say algae, protozoans, diatoms, like that. Okay. Next, we come to multicellular eukaryotes. These are divided into two groups, that is with cell wall, without cell wall. With cell wall are again divided into two groups, two kingdoms rather, kingdom fungi and kingdom Plantae. Okay. So fungi is been separated out from the kingdom Plantae. Now here, kingdom fungi have the characteristics that they are multicellular, they are eukaryotic, they have achlorophyllous cells. Okay, that is, they do not have chlorophyll. Okay, they are saprophytic. Okay, that is, they depend on dead organic matters. They then heterotrophic. Okay, Then their cell wall made up of chitin. Yes, they have a cell wall, but they are made up of chitin. Most of them are made up of thread-like. Most are made up of thread-like hyphae rather than cells. Okay, they are made up of generally hyphae rather than cells. They are multinucleated. For example, say yeast, penicillium, rhizopus, agaricus. Okay, these are the examples of kingdom fungi, organisms of the kingdom fungi. Then we come to kingdom Plantae. These are multicellular, eukaryotic, but they have a cell wall which is made up of cellulose. Okay, in fungi, their cell wall was made up of chitin, but in Plantae, their cell wall is made up of cellulose. They are autotrophic. Okay, that is, they have chlorophyll and they produce food through photosynthesis. Okay, then we come to without cell wall. Without cell wall organisms are grouped into kingdom Animalia. Okay, these have the characteristics of these animals are these organisms are they are multicellular, eukaryotic, excuse me, they are heterotrophic, without cell wall, without chlorophyll. They cannot manufacture food. They obtain the food by eating or sucking. Okay, and they are mobile, but some of them are non-mobile also. For example, sponges and corals. Okay. Then we come to kingdom Plantae, broader classification of kingdom Plantae. The kingdom Plantae, they are divided into 4 groups: Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, and Spermatophyta. Okay. These are the 4 phylums. Okay. So Thallophyta, characteristics of Thallophyta are they are autotrophic, okay, and contain chlorophyll. Autotrophic, that means they manufacture their own food. How? By performing photosynthesis. And because they have chlorophyll, that's why they can perform the photosynthesis process. Then they do not have differentiated plant body. Their plant body is thallus-like body. Okay, they are primarily aquatic, and they are example are multicellular algae, Spirogyra. Okay. Next, we come to Bryophyta phylum. They are autotrophic. That is, they manufacture their own food. They do not have a differentiated plant body, but they have rhizoids, root-like. Okay. They have collards, which is stem-like, and phyllids. They have leaf-like structures. So 3 structures are there, which can be very close to the plant body, like roots, stems, and leaves, like that. But they are not actual root, stem, or leaves. Okay. So root-like, they have rhizoids. Stem-like, they have collards. Leaf-like, they have phyllids. Okay. Example are mosses and liverworts. Okay. Then we come to Pteridophyta. Then these are non-flowering. Okay, these are also non-flowering, but their leaves often made up of leaflets, which bears spores on their underside. Okay, they have spores on the underside of the leaf. Just on the side of the leaf, there are spores through which they can reproduce. Okay, then plant body is differentiated into roots, stems, and leaves, but they are non-flowering. Okay, then example are ferns. First, land plant bearing vascular tissues. They have vascular tissues, but first land plant bearing vascular tissues are the pteridophytes. Okay. Then we come to spermatophytes. Spermatophyta are seed bearing plants. Okay, they bear seeds. That's why they are known as spermatophyta. Okay, these are 2 types, that is gymnosperms and angiosperms. First, we come to gymnosperms. Gymnosperms, they bear naked seeds. Those are not enclosed in the fruit. They bear the seeds in cones. Okay, both male cone and female cones are there. Cones contain pollens and ovules. They are either trees or shrubs. For example, cycas, pine, fir, like that. Okay, and these gymnosperms are also again divided into 2 groups, that is cycads and conifers. Okay. Now we come to angiosperms. Okay, angiosperms are the flowering plants. They are the highly developed plant body. They have the highly developed plant body, which can be very clearly differentiated into roots, stems, leaves, flowers, fruits. Everything can be differentiated. Okay, their seeds are enclosed in a fruit, and on this basis, they are divided into on the seed basis. They are divided into two groups again, monocot and dicot. Okay, monocot, they have only one cotyledon, seeds which have only one cotyledon. Dicots have seeds which has two cotyledons. The monocots, they have the leaves which are parallelly venated, whereas dicots, they have the leaves which are reticulate venation. That is, reticulate venation is network of venation. Okay, and parallel venation means one after the other, the veins run like this. Okay, one after the other, like this. They move like this, or they move like this, parallel to each other. And in reticulate venation, crisscross, all the veins are crisscross in the way that. Okay, then monocot, they have fibrous root system, whereas dicots have the tap root system. Then monocots are, example are maize, rice, grass, dicots, pea, potato, apple, rose, okay, China rose, all those. Then we come to kingdom Animalia. Okay, now kingdom Animalia, these are divided into non-chordates and chordates, or invertebrates and vertebrates. Okay, two groups. Phylum, two phylum, invertebrates or non-chordates, vertebrates or chordates. Okay. Now we come to the characteristics of the invertebrates or non-chordates. Okay. So first is they do not have any internal skeleton. Their backbone is absent. Tail is absent. Anus at the tip of the back end of the body, but they do not have a tail. Heart, when present, heart generally not present, but if it is present, they are on the dorsal side of the body, that is at the back of the body. This is the dorsal, this is the ventral. Front portion is our ventral side, the back portion is the dorsal side for any animal. So, heart is on the dorsal side, if present. Then nerve cord is ventral and solid. Nerve cord that is present, that should be in the front, in the ventral side, and that is solid. Then have 3 or more pairs of limbs if present. If the limbs are present, that will be in 3 or more pairs. Then hemoglobin generally is absent. If it is present, that is dissolved in blood. Okay. Then we come to vertebrates or chordates. Okay. They have an internal skeleton. Backbone is present. That's why they are chordates. Okay. The tail is present, heart is on the ventral side, that is on the front side of the body. Nerve or the spinal cord is on the dorsal side, and they are hollow. They are not solid like the invertebrates. Then they have 2 pairs of limbs, and hemoglobin is present in the RBC. Okay. So this is the group of invertebrates and vertebrates. Now, why this vertebrates have the only one phylum, that is chordate, which has the characteristics of having notochord, that is vertebral column, present in the organisms. The notochord or vertebral column present. Heart is on the ventral side, nerve or the spinal cord on the dorsal side, hemoglobin present in the RBC. For example, fishes, birds, humans, everything. Okay, which is having a vertebral column. And invertebrates are grouped into rather 3 levels. One is cellular level, tissue level, and organ system level, right? So first is cellular level, which is grouped under one phylum, that is phylum Porifera. This phylum Porifera is having simplest multicellular, these are the simplest multicellular animals. Simplest multicellular animals are Porifera phylum. Okay. Their body consists of a hollow tube, no single mouth. Many pores are there on the or the canals are present on the body. No single mouth is there. All over the body there are pores. Okay, they are generally aquatic, fixed type. They do not move. Excuse me. The spongy fibers, they have spongy fibers for protection, while they are which are microscopic spicules. They are also elastic. They may be spicules or they may be elastic. Then highly, they are generally mainly marines, while few fresh waters are also there. There, for example, a cyclone and bark sponge. Okay. Then we come to tissue level. This is the most primitive, rather primitive phylum is Porifera. Then we come to tissue level, a slightly higher level, where the cells are grouped here into tissues. You can get some tissue there. Here. Okay. So this phylum is phylum Nidaria. Okay, where two layers body walls enclosed a cylindron. Cylindron, what is cylindron? It's a single body cavity. Two-layered body wall is there. A body cavity, hollow body cavity is there, and two-layered body wall is there. That body cavity is known as cylindron. Digestion is in the cylindron. Okay, they have tentacles or stinging cells to catch the food. Around the cylindron, they will be having some tentacles or stinging cells. They will catch the food. Then they are generally aquatic. Their epidermis and gastrodermis are present. They are bisexual. For example, hydra and corals, and they are radially symmetrical. Okay, they are radially symmetrical. That means what? From any radius, they can be cut into two halves, two equal halves. Okay. The other level, the other group will be organ and organ system level, which is again divided into two groups, that is acylomata and cylomata. Acylomata means no body cavity. Phylum means body cavity. Okay. And acylomata means no body cavity. Cylomata means body cavity present. Okay. Now we come to acylomata, which has two phylums. One is phylum Platyhelminthes, another is phylum Nematoda. Okay, so first we come to Platyhelminthes phylum. The characteristics of this is that they are bilaterally symmetrical. That is, if we cut them into two halves, two equal halves, we can cut them into. Okay, they are free living or parasitic. They can be free living or parasitic. They are small, soft, and they have flattened body. Their body is flat. Flattened body, unsegmented worms. They have body cavity of phylum is absent. They do not have any body cavity. One opening of alimentary canal is there. They are bisexual. For example, say planaria. Planaria is free living, liver fluke, and tapeworm. They are parasitic. They live in the body of the humans. They are known as flatworms. Okay. Now we come to nematoda. Nematoda are also known as what? Roundworms. Okay. Generally, they are unisexual. Okay. But bilaterally symmetrical. They are also bilaterally symmetrical. Mostly they are parasitic, but some are free living also. They are also unsegmented worms. They're not segmented. They are long and cylindrical. They have a false or fluid-filled body cavity. In Platyhelminthes, they did not have any body cavity, but in Nematoda, they have a false or fluid-filled body cavity. They have two ends opening of the alimentary canal, but in the Platyhelminthes, they have only one opening of alimentary canal. Okay. Example of this one, Nematoda is Ascaris and eelworm. Okay. Now we come to Cylomata. Cylomata is grouped, has been grouped into, or rather divided into four groups, four phylum. First, we come to Annelida. Okay. This Annelida, they have soft, cylindrical, segmented, ring-like, they have segmented body. Okay, soft, cylindrical, and segmented, they have ring-like segments. They are well-developed digestive system. The digestive system is well-developed. Both ends open alimentary canal with mouth and anus. Okay, then they have a true body cavity. They are bisexual. Excretion through nephridia. Okay, example are earthworm, liches, and neurosis. Okay, neurosis. Sorry. So Platyhelminthes are bilaterally symmetrical. Nematoda are bilaterally symmetrical. Then this one, Annelida, they are also bilaterally symmetrical. Okay. Uh, they are Platyhelminthes are free living or parasitic. Nematoda are free living as well as parasitic. Mostly they are parasitic, but some are free living also. And Annelida, they're generally free living. Some are parasitic also because leeches, they feed on blood of the humans, or rather animals, other animals also. Okay. Then they are unsegmented worms. Nematoda are also unsegmented worms. But Annelida, they have segmented body, ring-like segments they have. Okay. Then Platyhelminthes, one opening of the alimentary canal, whereas Nematoda, they have two openings. But in case of Annelida, they have two openings. Digestive system is well developed, mouth and anus is full. Okay. And they have good, well developed alimentary canal. Okay. Then in this one, Platyhelminthes, Phylum is absent. Body cavity is absent. Okay. In Nematoda, they have cylindrical, so they may be having some body cavity. Okay. Fluid filled, false or fluid filled body cavity. Okay. So these have a body cavity, true body cavity in Annelida. Okay. Then platyhelminths are bisexual, Nematoda are unisexual, generally unisexual. Okay. And in case of Annelida, they are bisexual. Okay. And one more important characteristic of this Annelida is that they excrete through nephridia. Okay. So these, all the three are worms, but the difference is these three. Okay. Then we come to Arthropoda phylum. Arthropoda phylum, here Arthropoda, as the name suggests, the body is divided into three parts. Okay, as the name suggests, they have jointed appendages. Poda means appendage. So arthropoda means jointed appendages, that is jointed limbs. Okay, and they have head, thorax, and abdomen. The body is divided to head, thorax, and abdomen. That is segmented body. Then exoskeleton they have, that is made up of chitin, and exoskeleton molds. Okay, they have molting exoskeletons. Okay, that means they shed their that means when they grow, they will shed their outer skeleton. Okay. And that is divided into four, again, groups: Crustacea, Myriapoda, Insecta, Arachnida. Four classes are there. Crustacea class, their examples are crabs and crayfish, grayfish. Myriapoda, centipede, millipede, insecta, housefly, cockroach, mosquito, lots and lots of insecta, butterflies, okay, moths. Then Arachnida, they have spiders, mites, etc. In Crustacea, head and thorax is fused, abdomen is separate. Okay, and many paired appendages they have. Crustacea. Myriapoda, each segment of the body will have a paired appendage. Okay, Insecta, head, thorax, and abdomen are separate, and the three pairs of jointed legs are there, and two pairs of wings are there. Arachnida, again here, head and thorax are fused, abdomen separate, four pairs of jointed legs are there. Okay. Next, we are coming to phylum Mollusca. Mollusca are soft, unsegmented body. Body will be covered with a hard calcareous shell. This is for protection of the animal, of the organism. Okay, the locomotion is by a muscular foot, with the help of a muscular foot. Gills for breathing, they breathe through gills. And for examples are oysters, snail, octopus, they're generally aquatic. Okay. Then we come to Echinodermata. Echinodermata phylum has the organisms which have the characteristics of unsegmented body. Okay, the body is not segmented. Exoskeleton with a spiny skin. Their exoskeleton is spiny. Okay, they are marine animals, the locomotes with the tube feet. Head is absent. They have generally 5 arms are there. They are radially symmetrical. Example, starfish, sea urchins, etc. Arthropoda are there bilaterally symmetrical, generally bilaterally symmetrical, except spiders. Okay, but generally they are bilaterally symmetrical. Okay. Okay, then mollusca is also, they have a shell. So unsegmented, they have body. Okay. Now we come to this is the end of the 5 kingdom classification. We will start with the characteristics of the earthworm, which comes under Annelida. The characteristics are their common Indian earthworm is known as Ferretima posthuma. Ferretima is the generic name, posthuma is the specific name. All of them live in the burrows in the damp soil. Okay, their dry soil is unsuited for earthworms because they cannot respire. Okay, in the dry soil. Their skin has to be kept moist for respiration. They make burrows by eating through the soil. Okay, they will engulf the soil and eject through the anus as castings. Okay, and by this they will make a burrow inside the soil layer, and by this they will make the soil fertile. The organic matter which they are releasing, the humus, and which contains the humus and also some broken bits of leaves, which will make the soil more fertile and loose. Okay, so that it can be aerated. Okay, and that will help for plants to grow. They're generally nocturnal and they crawl up at the surface of the ground at night for feeding and molting. Generally, they are bisexual, but they need 2 of them for mating. Okay, their body is long, cylindrical, divided into series of 80 to 100 ring-like segments are there. They do not have head, no appendages, no eyes, no tail. Okay. Then mouth at the front end has a small opening, but they do not have any jaws, and an anus is on the extreme hind end. Okay. Short cylindrical band is there. Okay, the short cylindrical thick glandular skin called cytellum. Cytellum is there, which is surrounding in the mature worm. Okay, now as a belt on the 14th to 16th segment. Excuse me, 14th to 16th segment, there will be a band-like structure, a rubber band type. Okay, so that will encircle the that is known as clitellum. It will encircle the 14th to 16th segment. It is thick glandular skin, which helps in. It is 1/3 of the body is covered with that skin, or 1/3 of the segment, 14 to 16 segment is covered. The other is left open. Okay, that clitellum helps in what? In reproduction. Okay, then ventral side, the lower side is light colored, which bears a few important openings and structures which are close to clitellum, which are concerned with reproduction. Okay, lower side, near the clitellum, in the lower side, they will be that will be light colored, and they will have some important openings which help in reproduction. Now, what are the importance of, rather economic importance of earthworm? They are highly useful in agriculture. They loosen up and aerates the soil by burrowing, thus helping plants' roots to respire and grow well and penetrate deeper. That increases the fertility of the soil by interchanging the topsoil and with the lower layer. That is, they will take the topsoil and they will eject it out through the anus. So the topsoil will go down, the lower soil will go up. Like that, they will increase the fertility of the soil. They help in growth of the plants by excreting, which contains nitrogenous matter, rich nitrogenous matter. They produce high quality manure by vermiculture. By vermiculture, they produce high quality manure. They help in catching fish as they are used as baits. Okay, they're used as baits, which are attached to that string, no? And the fish will come to eat that earthworm, and they will fall in the trap. Okay. Like that, they help in catching fish. Now we come to phylum Chordata. So this was what? This was till invertebrates. Now we have coming to phylum Chordata of the last phylum of the five kingdom classification. This will have 5 classes: fishes, amphibia, reptilia, aves, and mammalia. So first we come to fishes. Fishes, which is cold-blooded, which we call poikilothermal. Okay, the one single word for that cold-blooded animals are poikilothermal. They are generally aquatic. They are slimy. They have a slimy and scaly skin. They have a two-chambered heart. They breathe through gills. They have external fertilization, and they locomote through fins. They do not have limbs. Okay, they are grouped into two types of fishes, that is cartilaginous fish and bony fish. Cartilaginous fish, the skeleton is made up of cartilage, like it's shark, dogfish, and bony fish, they have bony skeleton, which is rohu and trout, for example. Then we come to amphibia. They are also poikilothermal. They are aquatic as well as terrestrial. That is, they live. That's why amphibian. Okay, that is, they live both on land as well as in water. The eggs and the larvae, they're generally aquatic, whereas adults are generally terrestrial. They breathe through gills in case of larvae, and when they are adults, they breathe through skin when in water, and on land, they breathe through lungs. Okay, they have a slimy skin, smooth and non-scaly skin. Okay, the skin is smooth and non-scaly. The slimy body is slimy. They have 2 pairs of pentadactyl limbs. 2 pairs of pentadactyl limbs. They have 3-chambered heart. External fertilization is external, and examples are frog, salamander. Okay, and another point is there that eardrum, they are on the surface of the skin. They are not enclosed under any layer. They are on the surface of the skin. Okay, and then we come to another class, that is reptilia, the third class. These are also cold-blooded, that is poikilothermal, but they are terrestrial, totally terrestrial. Okay, they have dry, rough, bony skin, horny, scaly skin. Dry, rough, horny scales they have. Okay. Then they breathe through lungs. They have 3-chambered heart and ventricle partially divided. Okay, ventricle is partially divided into 2. Not total division is there, but partial division is there. Eardrum at the bottom of a tubular depression. In reptilia, they have eardrum, which is under a tubular depression, but in case of amphibia, that was open on the skin. Then they have a leathery shelled eggs. Their eggs shells are leathery in structure. Snake and lizard example. Then we come to aves, class aves. They are warm-blooded, that is homeothermal. Okay, they are aerial, that is they always fly in the air. They breathe through their lungs. Their exoskeleton is feathered. Okay, and they have 4 limbs which are modified into wings. Their legs are scaly. They have eggs. They lay eggs which are calcareous shell. They have calcareous shelled eggs. Then their body is streamlined. The skeleton is light, which helps them to fly. They have 4-chambered hearts. That is, the chambers are totally divided. In reptilia, the ventricle was partially divided. Auricles are already divided. So they have 3-chambered, but in case of aves, the 4-chambered heart is there. The examples are parrot, crow, duck, ostrich, whatever, like all the birds. Then class Mammalia, these are also homeothermal. They live in all habitats. They give birth to the living young ones, that is, they are viviparous. Others were oviparous, that is, they were giving birth, laying the eggs, that were they were oviparous. But in case of mammals, they are viviparous, except 2 animals, that is Australian spiny anteater and duck-billed platypus. They lay eggs. But why they are mammals? Because they have mammary glands, they secrete milk, and they feed their young ones by suckling. Okay, then hairy skin, then They have hairy skin. Their muscular diaphragm separates the thorax and the abdomen. Internally, they have four-chambered heart. They breathe through lungs. They have external ears. That is pinna. They have external testes in the scrotum. That is testicles. For example, whales, dolphin, bat, man. Okay. Next, we come to the difference between flatworms, ringworms, and roundworms. This I told you. One discussion I've already told you. Just have a look. That flatworms, flat. They are flat, ribbon-like, unsegmented. Roundworms are soft, round, cylindrical, unsegmented. Ringworms are soft, cylindrical, ring-like, segmented body. Flatworms are acylomate. Roundworms are pseudocylomate. Ringworms are cylomata. Okay. Then flatworms are hermaphrodite, that is bisexual. Roundworms, the sexes are separate, but ringworms are again, both sex organs are present in the same one, but they require two worms for reproduction. Then flatworms, they have an alimentary canal which has only one opening, which serves both for anus and mouth. And roundworms, their alimentary canal has two openings, mouth and anus at the two ends. Then ringworms, Annelida, they have alimentary canal which has two openings at the two ends. Okay. Then we come to cuckoo. Okay. Cuckoo is some characteristics of cuckoo. It is a bird. It is black colored male. The black colored male which will sing, they will make a sound like that. And the brownish white patched female. The female is brownish white patch that produces a dull broken call, cuck, cuck, like that. Okay. And they will lay egg in the crow's nest, which are incubated by the crows. Okay. That is known as brood parasitism. Okay. The very important characteristic of cuckoo is they have a characteristic of brood parasitism. That is, they lay eggs in the crow's nest that will be incubated by the crow only. Okay, but that will be a cuckoo bird. Okay, then we come to ostrich, the largest and the heaviest living bird that is flightless. Okay, and they have powerful legs for running. Okay, powerful legs for running. They are fastest bird on land. They lay the largest of all the birds' eggs. Okay, they have the largest eyes of any land animal. Its eyes occupy much space in the skull, and the brain is much smaller. That is either of its eyeballs. It's the size or smaller than either of the eyeballs. Brain is so small, and eyes occupies most of the space in the head, the space of the head, brain. Okay. So this is the end of the chapter. This one, five kingdom classification. If you have any doubt, you want to know anything, okay. One more thing, I have not discussed here the different animal classes, I mean groupings, okay. You can find it in the books. But if you have any doubt regarding this, if you want to understand regarding this, you can mail me in my email ID, that is kasturi74@gmail.com, or you can write in the comment box. I will discuss that also in my in one of the videos. Okay, so I will make a video on that and we'll discuss. Okay. So I just want to complete the course so that it will help you in your exams. Okay, I know exams are very near, or it may have started also. So please cope up. Okay. So this much for today. We will next video will be on the physics. I will complete that chapter. Okay. And I will request you to please to subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed yet. And if you're liking the videos, press the like button, share with your friends so that they can also be benefited from these videos, and do meditate before you start your day. And for memorizing or for remembering the chapter, please make a chart. Okay. Or for you can make a chart of at the morning and see how much you have completed at the end of the day. That will also help you in doing the chapter wise or subject wise study of as your exams are coming near. No? So you can study in this way also. Okay, that will help you in have a track of what are the subjects, what are the chapters you have completed. So thank you for joining us and have a good day.